Hey future ecologists, Bree here with my colleagues Mindy and Kylie talking about Florida beach ecology, specifically focusing on Destin and Pensacola areas. The main dominating factor that made us choose Florida as our ecology system is how human activity negatively impacts the beaches, causing plenty of destruction. This includes the increase of fecal indicator bacteria, endangered species, and littering among the beach. Since we three truly love and appreciate South Florida's beaches, we want to talk about the uncomfortable truth for awareness and future prevention. We are investing our energy into learning more about the beach system since not only is the beach an important place to us, but is also culturally and economically important as well. As a group, we have been to the multiple Florida beaches together and find it's important to understand every aspect that goes into this ecological system and how it maintains to be one of the most beautiful, most popular tourist destinations for vacations.
Hi there, this is Mindy Wynn, and today I will be discussing the ecological concern of bacteria in beach sand. We all love the beach, and laying out to tan and playing in the sand is one of the main components of being at the beach. I'm sure everyone listening right now has either been to the beach or experienced the beach from a distance at some point in their lives. Whether you're a child or an adult, a fun activity while being on vacation at the beach is building sandcastles or digging in the sand for crabs. Regardless, you get the point. Everyone has been exposed to sand at one point in their lives. Unfortunately, the sad truth is the sand that you see in Destin or Pensacola could be a potential risk for fecal indicator bacteria. A lot of people don't know this, but beaches will often shut down for guests if water quality monitors notice an imbalance in the water quality. However, what I didn't know is that they actually have a fecal indicator bacteria standard that if the water doesn't meet, they will close down the beach until further notice. That's really good in regards to beach goers' safety and exposure to health risk. However, the bad part is there are no safety measurements taken in regard to the sanitary quality of the sand, which is vital considering we are exposed to the sand the same, if not more, than the water at beaches. Unfortunately, sediment-like sand provides an ideal habitat for where fecal bacterial pathogens can persist and even grow, which is horrible to think about. Discussing an important issue like this is essential to understanding the health risk and issues involved within it. According to Elizabeth Halliday and Rebecca Gass, researchers at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, in their article, it states that bathing in coastal waters polluted with fecal contamination is estimated to cause more than 120 million cases of gastrointestinal illnesses and 50 million cases of respiratory disease around the world. That is terrifying for people who are frequent beach vacationers who are unaware of the situation. Imagine going to the beach for a relaxing vacation away from the kids or work, and then acquiring a life-threatening gastrointestinal disease such as gastroenteritis. That's something a lot of people never imagine as a risk of going to the beach. I feel like a lot of people are more concerned about running into a shark in the water. Well, this is your sign to be more concerned about the poop pollution in the sand. So how exactly are the beaches of Destin and Pensacola being contaminated with fecal bacteria? According to the same article, these fecal pathogens are introduced via wastewater treatment facilities and combined sewer overflows. Other sources include leaky septic tanks, urban runoff, discharge from boats, and from local animal population. Never would I have imagined that the beautiful white sands of Florida beaches are contaminated from literal poop. Now we are going to be discussing the really important concerns, which are what diseases and health risks come from the fecal indicator bacteria in the sand. According to the same article, research found that frequent beachgoers had an increased incidence of diarrhea and skin rashes when compared to non-beachgoers. I've actually gotten a major skin rash after swimming in the beaches in Cancun. I even went to the dermatologist to get their opinion on it, and they said they've never seen anything like it before, which terrified me. It was also documented that people who went to the beach frequently would have increased incidence of intestinal, respiratory, and skin infections when compared to non-beachgoers. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention concluded that the incidence of infection has steadily increased as a result of emerging pathogens. That suggests that the water quality monitoring falls short of the goals of protecting human environmental health. Overall, humans need to do better in regard to monitoring fecal indicator bacteria by coming up with more effective methods.
Hi everyone, this is Kylie Milligan. Today I'm going to inform you guys about the significance in saving marine wildlife, especially manatees. Also, I'm going to address how big of a role endangered species within beaches is to this day. Another thing I'm going to touch base on is how ecology within beaches is found through endangered species. This is all probably really relevant information to you guys, and the fact that I would think everyone listening to this podcast regarding beaches has a special place in their heart for the beach. Therefore, beach ecology needs to be upkept in order to maintain a lovely beach for tourists, locals, residents, and others. According to Rebecca Antworth, David Pike, and John Steiner, in their article, Nesting Ecology, Current Status, and Conservation of Sea Turtles on an Uninhabited Beach in Florida, USA, says that humans' use of nesting beaches may alter sea turtle behaviors, affect nesting substances, so that the conditions become unfavorable for nesting and hatching success. To be more precise about the previous statement, the article states human use of nesting beaches may include diurnal and nocturnal activities, vehicle use on the beaches, and artificial lighting effects from beachfront development. How crazy is that? This is basically saying that we as humans play a role in the endangerment of species, especially sea turtles within beaches. From experience, I have observed areas where signs are put down that say, do not walk on the sand dunes or within this certain area due to the turtles nesting, and or maybe signs that say you cannot sit or put chairs down at a certain location on the beach due to the nesting of sea turtles. Unfortunately, some beach tourists do not care nor pay attention to the warning signs and just do as they please, and this leads to the endangerment of species, which is super devastating. I'm now going to transition to talk about the human impact within beaches and how human impact can negatively affect beach ecology. From the source, Ecosystems Indicators for Southeast Florida Beaches, Marshall Frank, Kenneth Banks, and Jeffrey Cook gave Bree, Mindy, and myself some wonderful insight on this. This article states, in Southeast Florida, alteration of beaches for human activities has resulted in substantial loss of naturally functioning beach habitat and reduced biological diversity. I don't know about you, but this direct quote breaks my heart in the fact that we as humans can ruin beaches and decrease the biological diversity within a beach as well. Within this source, I also found out that ghost crabs, goatfish, shrimp, zooplankton, kingfish, and many more organisms rely on a stable community within the beach and can be negatively impacted by humans. Isn't that crazy to think that we as humans can infect all this marine life, organisms, species, and other things within beaches when we would just go there to have a good vacation spot? Overall, after hearing about these two sources regarding human impact on beach ecology and human impact on endangerment species, especially the sea turtles, all in all, we all need to be way more aware. Even though the beach is usually a fun vacation spot for many, or so I can say for myself, we still need to take the protocol because the beach is a home to not only us, but the organisms and species within the beach that contribute to the beach's diversity.
Hi guys, it's Bree again. I will be discussing the horribleness of littering. As we all know, littering is the act of not properly disposing trash and waste, and is a major issue in many places, especially the beach. From human laziness, littering causes serious damage to the beach's ecological system. Personally, I can think of countless of times of seeing litter scattered from people that do not consider the beach's wellness, even though there are 20 trash cans at every 100 feet on the sand. So now we know that littering is obviously a horrible action, but the real question is, how does littering affect the beach? Well, littering can harm the beautiful species that live in the ocean. Not only does the ocean tide tend to suck in trash from the beach into the water, even if the trash is far up the sand, we all know how strong the ocean's tide is and that the trash will eventually end up in the water one way or the other. People like to bring in their beer cans as a nice refreshment while hanging in the cold, salty ocean water, and then we'll just throw those cans in the water. I enjoy a good beer in the ocean water, but I know that the simple action of holding on to the can until I get out the water to then throw it away is the right thing to do. We have all seen videos from social media or news articles about the plastic can rings getting caught on the sea turtles' necks or the plastic straws getting stuck in their noses. Googling plastic can rings has images of turtles with the rings wrapped around their bodies. It makes me sick on how common this is, yet nothing has changed. Littering causes them to be in serious pain and possibly die just because people are too lazy to throw their trash away. Not only does littering directly harm the ocean species, but also causes destruction to the sand species as well. According to a study from the Marine Pollution Bulletin Journal, macroplastics litter is often the source of secondary microplastic contamination, which causes a toxic environment for sand species and causes them to lose their habitat. These tiny microspecies that live in the sand each have their own role in keeping the sand ecology's health balanced. Without them, the toxicity in the sand ecology can increase rapidly and cause a whole imbalance for the beach in general. The beach is such a diverse, beautiful, unique ecosystem, and it's truly sad to think about how human trash is one of the main reasons that these beaches are getting ruined. I want this to be an eye-opener to you guys to show how we can protect the Florida beaches by simply throwing away our trash. Remember, even one person can make a difference by picking up their litter and throwing away their trash to keep the beach beautiful. Let's do better, guys. All right, guys, it's time for the best part of the whole podcast, Q&A. So, Mindy, what are some of your concerns regarding how human actions impact the beach's health and wellness?
Well, every year me and Mike go to Destin for his annual family beach trip. We stay at Jetty East in Destin, which is right by the jetty, and one thing I observed was a large sandpiper nesting ground. Every time I see the nesting ground, there are multiple signs and tape blocking it off. However, I always notice tourists who don't pay attention or possibly don't even care, playing literally on the nesting grounds. It's honestly really sad to see because they probably don't even realize the effects of even being on the grounds. Parents especially should do better about controlling their children on restricted areas of the beach.
All right, Kylie, I know you've been to different beaches in Florida this year. Which beach did you notice the most amount of litter at?
Okay, hey Bree, that's a great question because I have been to a lot of beaches in Florida this past year. I would definitely say that the beach that had the most litter would have been Pensacola Beach in comparison to Seaside, Seagrove, Blue Mountain, and Destin Beach in Florida. Pensacola really just didn't have any beach patrol cops or people to check on if littering was happening and or like signs that say no glass. So honestly, that's where the most litter was found when I went on vacation there with my parents. But on the other hand, when I went to Blue Mountain Beach or Seaside Beach, there was a bunch of trash cans, like trash cans maybe every 5 to 10 feet that you could throw your beach trash in to where you wouldn't just be throwing it on the sand and then with the wind and the wind from the current, it would be picking up and then eventually going into the water and killing a cute little innocent animal. Okay, Brie, I have a question for you regarding sea turtles' nesting habitats. From personal experience, me and my dad would be walking on the beach, and he always told me I couldn't go to a certain location or area that was either netted or taped off by some tape, which correlated to the turtles' nesting areas. And I always was so confused of why I couldn't go over there. But now, after doing this project and researching and reading articles regarding this and seeing how their nesting areas relate, if they're endangered, they can relate to them, the sea turtles becoming endangered species. So I was just asking you if this has ever been an experience that you've inhabited, growing up, going to the beach, and what was happening during your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been to Destin Beach specifically a lot of times throughout my life. I almost go every summer. And I have definitely seen netted off areas for turtles, and I've made sure to stay far away. Now, I've also seen people just ignore this fact and go stomping on whatever they want to, especially little kids that their parents do not discipline them. But overall, as a population, I feel like we need to be more careful and watching out for these turtle areas to keep them safe. All right, guys, this concludes our podcast. I hope you all found this interesting and can take something away from it. Bye!